Imagine turning your YouTube channel into a money-making machine. Now, I've done it several times, yet as shocking as it is, monetization could make you poorer. But before I explain why, in this video we're going to cover how YouTubers get paid, the easiest way to monetization, how to overcome those hurdles, and why monetization could actually make you poorer. But first, let's get an overview of how successful YouTubers get to monetization. And it's all about lily pads and 6 hats. Now, with that thought on lily pads, if you've ever experienced a slow start on your YouTube journey to monetization, and maybe you've been aiming for 1,000 subscribers and just getting 1 subscriber every day would be great. Well, you know what? That's absolutely normal. And I'll show you why. 95% of YouTubers start off, they hear about monetization, and then just after a few months they give up because they've just got a few subscribers. But as I said, that's absolutely normal. And lily pads is one way to explain it, but it's all actually about this particular type of curve. Let's imagine that once a month you release a video and once a month you double your subscribers. So month 1 you get 1 subscriber, month 2 you get 2 subscribers, month 3 you get 4, then 8, then 16. Now, your target to monetization is to get to 1,000 subscribers within a year. And yet, you know, by month 6, how many subscribers do you think you have? You've actually got 32 using an exponential growth. And yet, if you just waited another 6 months, you know how many subscribers you would have had? Well, by month 12, you'd have been well over 2,000, heading towards 4,000 subscribers. It's absolutely mind-blowing, and sadly so many give up just at the point when the curve is beginning to kick in. And YouTube's a great example of exponential growth. So to avoid getting overwhelmed, what you need to do is in effect wear 6 different hats. So what are these hats? Well, the great thing with wearing a hat is you can only generally wear 1 hat at a time. So these are the 6 hats, but you need to think in terms of when you wear a hat, you focus on that one particular skill set that's needed. So the first hat, the brainstorming hat. The brainstorming hat, you set aside time to have a session on coming up with fresh ideas for your particular niche. So you want to start off and try and have a theme. Once you've got some engaging ideas, some engaging content, then take that hat off and put on your next hat. This is the thumbnail hat. So now start studying thumbnails. You're looking to get an eye-catching thumbnail so that when people are scrolling through thumbnails, they stop on yours and they click it and then they enjoy that idea you came up with on the previous hat. The next hat is a script writing hat. So dedicate some time to learning how to write a good script, and that means hooking the viewers and keeping them engaged. The next hat is the editing hat, and that's a hat that you just need to learn basic editing skills. Just make sure that you engage people, put cuts in there, learn a bit about J cuts, L cuts, things like that, put on some text and try and engage people, maybe some B-roll as well. Just a few basic things is going to make a big difference to your video. The 5th hat is the hook crafting hat. Yes, it's a way of trying to get people so that they want to hang around and learn about what's coming up. Or maybe they've got a question that they've still got from your video. You see, earlier on I mentioned about the lily pads, but I haven't explained that as such yet. And that's coming up just in a moment. So that's a hook. So create hooks that captivate your audience, want to keep them watching longer, which is rewarded by the algorithm in YouTube. And that's then the 6th and final hat is the analytic hat. It's all about understanding the algorithm and what YouTube's looking for. And again, don't get too hung up on that, but when you put that hat on, it's about learning from what you've done already, seeing what your audience is responding to, what videos that you've produced already are they watching, which one's bringing the most subscribers. That will just help you to make sure your focus is in the right areas. And the key is to just, every time you put on the hat, to just improve the skill set slightly. On a 1% basis, you'll soon become a really good YouTuber as you've learnt various skills. And you'll see how far you've come when you look back on your early videos compared to your later ones. And by focusing on one skill at a time, you'll accelerate, you'll get that exponential growth that will then increase, it will double, it will quadruple, and it will go on. And suddenly you'll find it takes off, which gets you closer to monetization, which is the purpose of what this video is about. But an interesting question most people ask me is, how do YouTubers get paid? And I had it the other day, someone just emailed me and said, how do YouTubers get paid? And I'm thinking it's obvious. that you get paid through your ads, and there are other things as well that you need to do. But then I realised actually, if you've never been monetized, it still may be a question that you've got. So let's just cover that for a moment. How do you get paid? Well, you learn really how to apply for the YPP. The YPP is the YouTube Partner Program, and you find out about this in YouTube Studio. So when you go into your YouTube Studio where you upload your videos, there you can find out about how to apply for it. If you click on the menu, it says earn, it will tell you then what you need to do to achieve monetization. But basically there's 3 requirements here you need to know about. The first one is that you meet the criteria for monetization. So that'll be things like 4,000 watch hours in a year, that'll be 1,000 subscribers. If you're aiming for shorts, which we'll come on to in a moment, there is a bit more involved. But ultimately, 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 watch hours, that's the key to them being able to apply. Secondly, you need to be able to create a Google AdSense account. So that's how you get paid. And then finally, Google then will review your channel once you've met that first criteria. Then when you're improved on your videos, you can enable them whether ads are shown or not. So to answer that question, how do you get paid? Google arranges all the ads. Google shows them on your videos. You can even say where ads are shown on your video if it's over 8 minutes. And ultimately, Google then takes the payments from those advertisers, gives you 55% through your AdSense account, and then takes 45% cut for themselves. And that is it, because there's an easy way to do monetization and there's a difficult way. If you choose to go the difficult way, it'll be the way that most people go, where they make shorts, they then achieve monetization, and then they realize they don't get any money at all. And the reason they don't get any money is they haven't thought about the subject, about the type of video. In fact, there's a few things they haven't thought about. So let me just cover those with you. I would say the easiest way is to not focus solely on the things that bring in monetization. It sounds counterintuitive, but pleading for subs and views just doesn't work. So don't do that first of all. The next thing is where these lily pads come in. When you focus on the right things for monetization, then you'll see those lily pads just grow, and they grow again in an exponential way. So if you're deciding what types of videos to make, let's just be clear, you need to think of the category. Certain categories will pay better than other categories. So for example, digital marketing, finance, education, people, blogs, those rates, those CPM rates will be much higher for the adverts than if you were doing shorts or if you were just doing gaming. So the type of videos you make and the format you make them in, and then also the country that your audience is in. So if you make it for people in certain countries, they'll pay a lot more on ads than other countries. So all those factors should be taken into account if your main sole purpose is monetization. The other thing is watch hours. You need to make a video so that people's attention is kept ideally right to the end. So you want to hook them in, and then you want them to carry on watching. And if they continue to watch your video and maybe watch another video afterwards as well, actually the video after this is all about invalid traffic, and it's a really important video, so don't miss that. It's the type of thing you should be saying at the end of your videos. And so on top of that, another thing to do is to build brands, to build trust, to build a community. If people put comments on this video, answer them, get involved, get people to put things down in the video. So if you've got questions, put them down in the video comments and I'll answer them. It's that type of thing. That's going to help people as well grow the video. That will engage your audience, and then there'll be a loyal audience that want to learn more about what you can offer. And just to say as well, if you really want this to grow, you don't need to worry too much about the equipment. So just using a good phone with a reasonable camera on. In fact, the most important thing is the sound. So if you get the sound right, then people can listen. If they can hear what you're saying, particularly if it's educational, then they're more likely to watch. But I said at the beginning that monetization could make you poor. And to explain this, one of the members of my community said, never build your house on rented land. And I now know exactly what he means by that, because just a few months later, I received a notice and on my monetized channel where I was earning enough money to make it my full-time job, I suddenly received something that said invalid traffic. And then when I started looking into it, suddenly I realized that I was getting 90% of my money, my ads, suddenly stopped overnight. And literally, it meant I had to choose between, do I carry on this or do I now look for other employment? It was that bad. Now, one of the things I did was made a new channel, which is this channel, and this is now getting to the point of monetization. But I also realized that I shouldn't be relying just on Google Ads as an income. So there you need to think in terms of how do you handle invalid traffic and what can you do to bring in other incomes too. Now, if you want to know about invalid traffic, and it really is important to know this before you get to monetization and going full time, you need to watch this video next.